Hi everyone, another edition of Peterson's Perceptions here. We classed up the man cave, haven't we, again, after last week? We had Steve Lockway here, didn't we?
I know we had to get some Cobber's logos in here, maybe a couple more flat screens, some more trophies, whatever it takes, Dom.
We've also brought in the head coach of the Concordia men's basketball team and the athletic director of Concordia, Mr. Rich Glas. Coach, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Great, it's a great, exciting time over at Concordia for the Cobbers. Obviously, all the four winners teams are into the MIAC playoffs, including your team. A turnaround season. I remember talking to you right before the MSUM game back in November, and I think you had actual little question marks as well, not knowing what to expect out of this team. How surprised are you, 18-7 during the regular season this year?
Well, I certainly would have taken 18-7 at that time if they had told me that's what you could have, because there were a lot of question marks when you come off a year where you only win 8 games and lose 17 of them, and you have a lot of those same guys back. You're hopeful that they learn from that experience, but again, you never know. But obviously they learned, and I think the big key was we won that game against Carleton and hit a buzzer beater, and that gave us some confidence, and we rolled from there, and it's continued. So hopefully it will march into Saturday's playoff game or Friday's playoff game and get us into that title game. So we'll see what happens.
I guess was that Carleton game the turning point? I know a lot of people turned the St. Thomas game. You beat the #1 team in the country as kind of being maybe the watershed or defining moment of this season. For you, what was that defining moment where you thought this team could maybe turn the page from what it did last year?
I think it was Carleton. That was a huge game for us. We won at home against Bethel to open up our conference season, which was a nice win. But then we went on the road and got beat at the 2 top teams at that time, St. Thomas and Augsburg. So then we came on to our game with Carleton at home right before going home for Christmas break. So I thought we needed a win here and get 2-2 instead of 1-3 and kind of be down in the dumps. And when Abel hit that buzzer beater to have us win the game, that just lifted everybody's spirits. So everybody went home happy for Christmas and came back, and we had some confidence rolling, and we won some games early, and it's just continued.
You mentioned the St. Thomas game, and I think, Coach, that's a night, at least in my 6 years here, it's going to be remembered for a long time at Memorial Auditorium because, it's the #1 team in the nation. They're unbeaten, and it comes down to the wire, and you guys get it done. Tell me what you were experiencing on the side. You've been coaching a long time. Tell me what you were going through during that game.
Well, it was an exciting game, and to stay in the game. We kept in the game. And I always felt if we could just get to that 5-minute mark and be in the game and make things happen, we can win this thing. Because they hadn't really played in a lot of close games. And our guys really came through. We made some big plays. And Jason Hoos in particular was very effective for us. And when he plays well, that makes a big difference for us. But our guys dug down. We played well on the defensive end of the court. And just to have the crowd out there storming the court, and I was so glad they missed that 3-pointer at the end that would have won them the game, because that would have been really a bummer if we would have lost that game for all the effort we put in. And obviously that was a confidence boost too, but it didn't last long because the next game we went down, we got beat at Carleton. So I go back to the Carleton game as being the key game.
I just talk about you hope your seniors kind of come into their own when they're seniors. You have 6 seniors on this team. Basically the same team you had last year.
Right.
5-15 in the league, now 15-5 in the league this season. A 10-game jump. I mean, how do you make such a big improvement or jump in a 1-year span?
Well, I think they wanted to be better. And we talked about that after the year. Fellas, this was a disappointing season. We have to get better. And they took that to heart and worked hard over the summer, and they worked hard this fall, and they've worked all year long. And we got Aaron Lindahl back. People didn't realize or don't maybe forget that Aaron tore his ACL and missed most of the season. And he's a very important part of our team. He's a big-time leader for us. Those 6 guys, they just have an inner working together. And when you take one piece out of there, I think it affects it, and that's what happened last year. But they came back and they got some confidence rolling, and once that confidence set in, they can play, but a lot of teams don't win because they don't believe in themselves. And this team, when we got it rolling, believed in themselves, and they've won a lot of close games, a lot of games that people thought we were out of, but we hung in there and made some big shots, and were able to win the games. And it's been different guys. You know, it might be Amart off the bench has really been critical, making big shots. It might be Jason Hoos having a big game against St. Thomas. Abel, right on down the line, every one of them's contributed to winning big games for us.
Andrew Martinson, you just mentioned him. How good has he been, and how much surprising has that been for a guy to be that good off the bench for you?
Not surprising from the standpoint of his offensive game, but I tell you what he's really improved on this year. He's become one of our best on-ball defenders. You can put him in the game and put him on somebody, one of their perimeter players, and say, Andrew, you got to get after him and not allow him to get good looks. And I'll remember in that Carleton game, they had a chance to win the game against us, and he was guarding one of the best point guards in the league for that last shot, and he stuck with him, and the guy went up for a jumper, and he blocked the shot. And that's what made me, hey, he's pretty good on defense right now. So that's been big for us, is not just his offensive performance and his consistency of putting the ball in the basket, but he's also been a big contributor from a defensive standpoint.
You know, playing off that Andrew Martinson point here, I look at the point totals per game, 13.9, 7.6. That's the span of these 6 seniors. Very balanced, but Martinson shooting 48% from three-point range. And like Coach Glas knows, that had been kind of Achilles' heel in years past. Now, you know, almost 37% as a team. I mean, how does shooting go? You know, I'm sure there's a magic potion out there, but I mean, why does this team shoot so much better than it did last year and maybe the year before
I think
that?
it just is confidence. It's not like we're running a different offense. It's not like we spent the summer reteaching them how to shoot the basketball at all. It's confidence, and they've been through the wars, and I think they wanted to get this done. They wanted to be successful, and once they got some confidence rolling, it's just multiplied. And again, we have not shot it well, and this year, for some reason, the ball's going in the basket for us. And I just have to get back to that same word, confidence. They expect things to happen. There's a big difference between expecting things to occur and hoping things occur. And usually when you hope, it's not going to go very well. But when you expect things, it's because you worked for it, you've prepared yourself, and you expect it to happen. And that's what's going on right now with our club.
Now, being a college basketball coach is probably busy enough, but you're also doing double duty as AD, and this is the busiest time of year, obviously, with women's basketball going, and both the hockey teams I mentioned off the top in the postseason. How has this been juggling? This is your first full go-around this year of doing both jobs.
Well, I've been busy, just trying to keep up with all the different things that are going on, and but I've had a great help from the coaches themselves, and Rachel Bergeson is our associate AD. You know, she makes sure we're getting done the everyday things that have to get done, so I can still concentrate on the basketball aspect of the things. But my day is pretty filled. There's always something that comes up. There's always issues that you have to deal with from an athletic director standpoint. But frankly, I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenges that the AD position brings. So I can't complain. I do say that after 43 years of coaching basketball, I'd never worked a day in my life. I was pretty proud of that. But now this doggone AD job has me working for us. So I'm earning my money right now.
Do you want to keep doing that? How long do you imagine yourself coaching and doing both here?
Well, I don't see any end in the near future at all. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'll be turning 65 here in April. So, you know, I realize that the end is coming, but it's not here in the near future. I still plan on being around for quite a while. Not quite a while. I'm not going to be Gagliardi in football, let's put it that way. But we're still planning to do it for several more years.
You mentioned off the top as well how good the women's basketball team has been, and they're rolling along as well with a big obviously the conference tournament coming up for them starting this weekend.
Yeah, they won the conference title outright this Saturday. But what's interesting is they've been near the top of the league, but I believe it's the first time since 1989-90 since they won the regular season championship. Now they've won some tournament champions beyond that. And then you got the men's basketball team, which is the number 2 seed, and that's the highest they've been in the league since 95-96. So, I mean, it's got to be exciting to see this kind of not unprecedented, but success that hasn't been seen in these two programs for quite some time.
Yeah, well, we've been the ones lagging from the men's standpoint because we just haven't been there as many times, and the women have. So it's good to be practicing this week as they have been for the many years here. It's just fun to get out on the court knowing you're in the playoffs now, and the women are doing the same thing, and our hockey teams are going to be, both men and women are going to be there. You know, as an athletic director, my vision was to try to take Cobber athletics and motivate our teams and our coaches to become a premier athletic program in the league. It's been dominated by St. Thomas, Gustavus, St. John, St. Ben's, and St. Olaf, I believe it is, over the last decade. When you look at the all sports trophy, and I kind of added up, the point totals for both men and women and put them together, and we've been ravaging right around 7th, 8th place over the last decade. So, my vision is that let's get up there and let's crack that top 4, and we're off to a good start this year.
Before we go, I got to ask you, because I think all the Cobber fans that are watching this, if you get St. Thomas again in the MIAC championship in the conference tournament, what is your confidence level of beating them a second time?
Well, we know it'll be tough at their place, but I hope we play them. I think our players want to play them because that's the measuring stick. They're the #1 team in the country, and if you want to measure where your program is, you go play those people. And we're fortunate to have them in our league. It's difficult because they're dominating a lot of our athletic programs. They're the #1 team. Their volleyball team just got done winning the national title, but that's the bar you have to seek, and we have to raise ourselves to that level. And it can be done. We beat them here. And the challenge is to not go down there and get behind 24-0 like we were last time, and put yourself in that last 5 minutes with a chance to win the game and go get it done.
Do you think you have enough resume for an at-large bid, or you got to win the MIAC tournament to get into the Division III tournament?
I just haven't experienced it enough. I guess from the Division III standpoint, I like to think that if we can get in that championship game and compete well, that we'll have a good chance of being an at-large selection. But who knows? You just have to go win it and guarantee yourself of being in there.
You got to do some bracketology for me and figure that out, okay? Some Division III bracketology.
I got enough stuff going on. I'm working on some renovations in the man cave. I might get some bigger flat screens next time. Maybe we can get a more up-to-date Cobber logo. There's a lot of stuff at play. Maybe we can get some velour going on in here. But
we're gonna have Coach Burgow in here for next time, right?
I'll leave the bracketology to the experts and people like Coach Glas.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks
okay.
for having me. Yeah.
Peterson's Perceptions with AD and head coach Rich Glas and Eric Peterson. I'm Dom Izzo. Thanks for watching, everyone.